Call meeting to order Wabash County Plan Commission for Thursday, January 8th. First up will be the call to order. Yes, it did that. Roll call.
In a second, I'm still switching carbon. Got coffee. There we go. Okay. Randy Kirk,
Here.
Jeff Dawes,
Here.
Sam Hand, Chris Hickman,
Here.
Doug Rice,
Here.
Mike Roos,
Here.
Jeff Shorkin,
Here.
Sherry, Sherry Slate, and Joe Vogel.
Here.
I think we have a quorum.
I don't know if I'm the only one that jumped or not.
I knew he was there.
He told us he was gonna be out there.
Okay, first, we need to have an election of officers.
You got my hand up over there. I nominate Randy Jones for chairman.
I second it.
I'll move nominations to be closed.
Randy Curlip,
Yes.
Jeff Dawes,
Yes.
Chris Hickman,
Yes.
Doug Rice,
Yes.
Mike Roos,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we need a co-chair, so election of co-chair.
I nominate Sam Hand.
I will second that. I'll move nominations to be closed.
Okay,
Randy Curlip,
yes.
Jeff Dawes,
Yes.
Chris Hickman,
Yes.
Doug Rice,
Yes.
Mike Roos,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
See what happens when you don't.
You're not here.
That's right.
And next we have an election of secretary.
I got my hand up.
Okay, Jeff.
I nominate Jennifer.
Thanks, Joe.
I second.
Thanks, Doug.
I'll move nominations to be closed.
Okay,
Randy Curlip,
yes.
Jeff Dawes,
Yes.
Chris Hickman,
Yes.
Doug Rice,
Yes.
Mike Roos,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Okay. Next is the approval of the minutes from the December 4th meeting.
I'll move we accept the minutes as presented.
I second it.
Randy Curlip,
Yes.
Jeff Dawes,
Yes.
Chris Hickman,
Yes.
Doug Rice,
Yes.
Mike Roos,
Yes.
Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to old business, we have unsafe premise order, 2500 Church Street, Mary Chandler.
Yeah, that, we're just, as I reported before, we're still just waiting on some decent, time to spread some grass seed up there. And that, we have been in contact with the contractor and that is part of what they're gonna do. So we're just waiting on probably another month or so and he should be able to do that, so.
The ordinance review,
At the last meeting, we did have them here. Obviously, we've been busy doing the annual report and some other stuff. We haven't had a whole lot of time to get to that, but that's gonna be something we're gonna jump to and get with them on and get them a solid number as far as how far we think we are with it and what parts of it we think we need the help to finish on what we're doing. And then also give them the review, the stuff that we've already done and made edits for. From the day they started giving us all this, we started working on that. So that's just something we're gonna be working with them on. I think did they say 3 months, 2 months? I think we did give them, there was a time frame in the last meeting that we said within a month or two, we would be working with them. And then meet and, say, here's what we've got and report everything to the board and see, and then ask them for a new proposal to bring back to the board to see if we can finish this up in the timely plan. 3 months, yeah. So we're working on it. We've sort of let that slide for a little while, trying to finish some of these other things, but that's something here in the next month or so. Obviously, we're gonna jump back on and get working on, so.
next we have a unsafe premise order, Ezra and Laura Go.
Gales.
Yeah, I've been by there a couple times. There's just a few piles of stuff sitting there. It's not a huge amount, but of course it's not totally cleaned. And we're just waiting on them to finish. So, the weather's not been the greatest, obviously, for them to get out there and do this, and the site was just a big mud hole before this. So, when I was out there last week, it was a solid sheet of ice, so they couldn't have got any of that stuff out of there anyway. So, it's been like that for about a month or so. But I'll be in contact with them, check in with them, and just say, hey, when are you going to get this out of here? Because that's really the only thing we have left. The site's been pretty much leveled and cleaned up, so they just have some piles of and it looks like metal and scrap metal and stuff like that. They've got, stuff for recycling. So we'll give them some time to get that out of there, and then but I'll be in touch with them and check in with them before our next meeting, see what they have to say. So
Okay. The best draft ordinance.
so the best draft ordinance was given to the board 3 months ago, I think. We have since looked at the the data center stuff, and I think I reported this in at the last meeting too. We want to merge those. They're so similar in nature that it doesn't make much sense to not have that virtually the same thing. So I have started working on those edits. I've got some of it done. It's going to take a little longer to get that taken care of. Because I really didn't, I just started on the data center stuff. So I want to just go through that and make sure that we have everything together on that before I bring you a decent draft copy that combines the two into one. But I think this way we're going to save a lot of time by not having to redo absolutely everything, because the wording in a lot of this stuff, just like this compared to our other, is similar stuff. So that's the plan. So I think we're gonna, like I said, the BESS along with the data centers is what we'll be bringing you a draft of. I don't know if it's gonna happen next month for sure, but we'll have it within the next 2 months. We should have something to review and look at.
Okay, next we move into new business application SE 25-015 Addison Wiley, requesting a special exception for a home occupation type 2 in a Ag 2 zone district.
Okay. Addison had been here before, asking about the pond on the property. This is at the southwest corner of 24 and 600 east. If anybody that doesn't know her background, she's a long distance runner. She wants to use and utilize the building that's here on the property behind the house as a gym and a business for her running. There is an existing apartment that's in here that was built that way. It's hooked up and approved by the county health department as a separate structure for residential use. I think she wanted to move her parents in, if I was understanding right, and use the portion of the finished barn to house her parents, who I think are helping her with her business, and sort of use that as her home base for the business now. And I don't know. This is probably one of those that's she's still going to be running in 20 years. Is this going to be something that's probably going to go away after a certain amount of time? And since the structures were already there and being used for the use as far as a home, and both hooked up to a septic system prior to our ordinance being put in place, I don't think we can keep them now from not doing it or using it that way. But we wanted to just sort of let the board know that's the situation now. But they're wanting to use this, the actual barn, as a home-based business. When she did come to us with this, she could have just not said a word and just gone on and done this. But she wants to play by the rules and do the right thing. She did bring this to our attention. We thought the home occupation type 2 was the way to go. Type 2 is anything that's not in the residential structure itself, but would be based out of a accessory structure. that's within 250 feet of the home. That's how our ordinance was written. And this definitely checks all the boxes off on all the rules when it comes to that, so. Yeah, and the one issue that we had was the square footage. The square footage of the actual structure is 2,400 square feet. The ordinance is 900. Yeah, says that it's not to exceed 900. So this would be a special exception request and go to the BCA for a special exception with a variance from the size limits, even though a portion of that is also going to be the home for her, for her parents. So that's sort of the gist of this. And I'm sorry, I don't know. Nick, okay. Because you were here with her when she did the application for the pond, right? Okay. He's here on her behalf. She couldn't make it. Is she out of the country or out of
Business trip.
business trip? Okay. So, she told us ahead of time she wasn't going to be here, but somebody would be here in her stead. So Nick's here. If anybody has any questions for him.
I'm good with making a favorable recommendation.
And second,
Randy Carlos,
Yes.
Jeff Dahl,
yes.
Chris Hickman,
Yes.
Doug Rice,
Yes.
Mike Bruce,
Yes.
Joe Vogel,
Yes.
Okay. We have BCA the 27.
yes, 27.
27th. Same place. Same time, 7.
Okay.
Same place, same time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is staff reports, monthly report.
Yes, we have a regular monthly report. We've been giving you, showing, new homes, permit activity, things like that. This year compared to, 2024 to, well, I should say this year is now 26, but 25 to 24. Showing the differences in the amounts of structures, the types of structures, things like that. Along with the financial report. This is just informational stuff, so if anybody has any questions looking through it, let me know, and we'll try to get you some answers for that.
In the 2025 annual report.
Okay, the annual report, see, there's a director's report in the front, just sort of summarizing some of the stuff that happened over the past year. I'm not going to read through every single thing. Probably the biggest stuff was the changes to our permitting and DNR having to deal with the way we have to do our permitting through DNR. Now they are requiring a separate application from our permit. Cannot have our application be the permit anymore. That's not kosher. So they said you have to separate these. So we went to a different system where we're doing that. We're not doing the carbon paper colored stuff anymore. We're printing them out individually. The permits out individually. We're still giving them to the assessor's office for each permit. When we're done with them, it's just a different process when it comes to that. Obviously, if it's a permit for something in a flood zone, depending on what it is, if it's permittable use, obviously we would give those to the assessor's office. If not, if it's a footbridge over a creek or something like that, but it's because it's in a flood zone, we're required to get a permit for it no matter what. So there's little differences in that depending on what it is as far as what we report to the auditor's office or the assessor's office. So that's probably one of the biggest things that's changed. Page 4 sort of shows a graph of the petitions before the plan commission as far as the breakdown of what has been asked for. And one of the big things too, then on page 5 was the fee restructuring. So we came to the board and asked for, some changes to the fees. And on the next page, on page 6, you can sort of see the breakdown since we started this. We just did this starting in August. Was that the first year? Our first month was August. So there's sort of a breakdown of going through and saying, look, it's $100 for a variance or a special exception now. And then, more or less, I hate to say it like this, the win-loss, the differences. The $100 fee, in most cases, the county came out ahead, but obviously not much. In some cases, 10 cents, $2, $1.50, $12.20. But in other cases, it was minus $1.80, $5.30. So I think we guessed right, if you want to say it that way, as far as our fee goes, and it's working out pretty good. I think it's a decent balance. And then also with the fees for the ads, we've taken the ads for all of our variances and special exceptions and combined those into an ad. So instead of sending out 8 different ones for every meeting, we're just sending one that has all of them listed as one. It's been cheaper that way too. So it's, in both cases, it sort of saved us money on both ends. And so it has made a difference when it comes to some of that stuff. So page 7, just sort of breakdown of our special exceptions. And as you can see from the page before, half of those were ponds, more or less. And then page 8 is Board of Zoning Appeals and the variances in the difference as far as the 64 variances that were requested last year, and the breakdown of those was by setbacks, front, rear, side, roof pitches, aggregates, things like that. It just sort of gives you a breakdown of that with the variance requests, just as similar as we did to the special exceptions. Page 11 sort of shows the area that all those were done throughout the county. And then we did something similar with the improvement location permits, and the breakdown of those per month with the numbers, and then also gave a sort of a rough idea of where all those were given. And we did one for new homes. So the new home breakdown is pretty nice. It's pretty scattered all over the county. It's not just, by township, as you can see in the next page on that. LaGrove Township looks like it's pretty much been the leader in that for the last, since 1996. As far as the number of ILPs issued throughout each year or each 5-year span, because those were 5-year historical comparisons. So page 16 is the 30-year look on those, the same thing, LaGrove Township with how many, and then the new home breakdown on the next page. On page 17, that graph at the top, they do crisscross, and there's a reason for that, because we had a huge amount of ILPs come in for several different mobile home parks. That really put some of those numbers way over the top when it came to the new manufactured compared to previous. Some of those were some that they had placed there in the past years and they didn't get permits for, and so they had to catch up. So there was a lot more of them than was expected. So we were pretty much caught up with those, I think. We do have some pending in a couple of parks, so hopefully those get taken care of pretty quick and we get those out of the way. We just have some overviews on page 18. Our revenue summaries and expenditures, things like that. And the graphs for those sort of over on page 18 or page 19, sorry. Those would be our fund balance of stuff. So our general fund, unsafe grants funds, and then same thing on page 20, just moving over to there. And then page 21, we've got the complaints and reassessments. And the totals for those. I went through, I know we have complaints next, Randy. But the complaints were here are only two different pretty much than what we had reported in this because we've only got a couple different ones since the last time we're meeting. So I didn't print out a whole new complaint update. This is sort of our complaint update right now, is the numbers that are in here. One so far, yeah, so.
That's good.
Any questions, anything on the annual report? Then,
Okay, do the board have any business to bring up tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Well, let me ask the public real quick. Does the public have any business to bring before the board tonight? You're up.
Randy, I do real quick.
Oh, okay.
We have the need for a replacement board member for BCA. And we have asked him, he said yes, Chris, to the Board of Zoning Appeals is Mark has asked to retire as of the end of last year. We have to have two members of this board be members of the Board of Zoning Appeals. So Mark was one of those members. Do that now. It's not on our agenda. But it sort of happened in between after we put all this stuff out, so we didn't know he was gonna say yes that quick, I guess.
Agendas can be amended and you're not limited to only talking about what's in the agenda, so.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
So we do need I guess we do need approval for that for this board to ask Chris, because he's an appointee from Plan Commission to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Any motion? I'll make a motion.
Second.
Randy Curlis,
Yes.
Jeff Dawes,
Yes.
Chris Hickman,
Same.
Doug
I
Wright,
vote for myself.
Yes.
Mike Ruth, Joe Vogel.
Yes.
Okay, go.
I'll make a motion to adjourn if we go to the business.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
I'd like to take 30 seconds. I didn't want it to be part of the official